Welcome to Under the Wings Helmet. I'm Kyle Simmons, and I'm joined by former Michigan and NFL offensive lineman Thomas Guynes and the host of the ASAP Elite podcast, Rob Penn. This week's episode is sponsored by Jabs Gym. Learn the fundamentals of boxing through high-intensity cardio and strength workouts with locations throughout Metro Detroit, the Eastern Market, Ferndale, and Birmingham. We would also like to thank our other sponsor, Juke. You can purchase their athletic gear at jukefootball.com. Last Saturday, the Wolverines defeated Rutgers 31-7 at the Big House. J.J. McCarthy completed 15 of 21 passes for 214 yards and a touchdown. Blake Corum had 97 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Colston Loveland had 5 catches for 75 yards. Thomas, what did you like about this week's win versus Rutgers?
I think this week's win was just basically that. It was a win. I wasn't overly impressed with our performance. Again, it's just about let's get out these games healthy. Let's get the W, of course. I thought our defense did a pretty admirable job as far as keeping the Scarlet Knights out of the end zone. From that, I think when I sit back and look at JJ's performance, I think he's kind of getting back to the JJ of the first 2 games. Had some really nice passes in there. Had one where he just dropped it right there in the bucket. I want to say it was to Lovelace or to one of our tight ends. That was a gorgeous pass by JJ. Showed really good decision making from what I thought. Passes were accurate. Still showed the ability to run. A couple times where we had those play action or run pass options, RPOs looks like, and where he pulled the ball and he was actually the designated ball carrier at the time. Didn't do anything stupid by taking any big hits, got the yardage that he needed to get, did a really good job on the third down, I believe we were going for, where he punched it up the hole, stuck the ball out, crossed the first down plane, brought it back in. So I think the IQ is definitely there. The decision-making process is definitely there. The jury's still out with my offensive line right now. Every time, we're running zone, we're not getting the yardage that we used to get last year, but we were doing a really good job of changing the line of scrimmage on the short yardage plays. So anytime we got down, second and goal or whatever, right up the middle, changing the line of scrimmage, getting some good punch up the middle. So, like I said, it was a win against the Scarlet Knights. I think we did a serviceable job. It was Coach Harbaugh's first game back, so it was good to get him that win. I want to say it was his 100th game coaching for the Maize and Blue. So, again, nothing special. It was a workmanlike day. Still looking for us to delve a little bit deeper into the playbook, though, as we continue to get deeper into this Big Ten season.
First off, I did want to talk about this defense, and I wanted to talk about how we are now habitually starting slow, and are morphing into that second half team again. First half, we came out on a busted play and a missed tackle, third play of the game. I think they might have taken 60, 70 yards for a slant for a touchdown. Besides that, we shut this team out. I think that we may how many we've given up 2 touchdowns this season. I think that we rank number 1 in defense with 5.3 points per game. Good Lord. Are we looking at the best defense in Michigan history? We'll see when we get deeper into the Big Ten program. Second of all, I did also want to bring up the tradition of Michigan tight ends. Lovelace has picked that up. He's carried that torch, and he's a baller, man. So I looked at other stats besides the tight end, and around America, we have the number one passing quarterback QBR. We have the number 1 running back with touchdowns, and the number 1 receiver in the country with receiving touchdowns. That's all 3 levels. That's not bad. Now we're running into the offensive line isn't gentle. We're running into traffic. I think that the biggest disparity between last year and this year was that All-American senior that we had. I mean, a center that we had. He's not there anymore. We're not able to move guys around at the point. So that's becoming a big difference. And you can see it there. We're gelling and we're coming together. And I also want to tip my hat off to Mr. Sanders still. He's a baller. That's about it.
Yeah, definitely let me back up and recant just that little bit as far as us keeping the Scarlet Knights out of the end zone. Again, it was at it's the slant play, right? Goes back to however many moons ago when Indiana hit us with that against the Don Brown defense, and everybody started
Mhm.
to pick up on that. So, we're definitely going to have to do a lot better job as far as protecting the middle. And then when we're
Uh,
able to get a hat on those guys, let's wrap up and get the for sure tackle.
That was a missed tackle, TG. So that was an anomaly. First of all, it
Yeah,
was a slant. Caught on the second level, right behind the linebacker. You know what I'm saying?
right.
First of all, the linebacker was supposed to drop back in his hook curl zone, and he let a slant get behind him. First of all, that's not supposed to happen. That's more dig territory. Or deep
Right.
curl territory. So I understand that, but still, that safety has to make that tackle.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
yeah. Besides,
Again, it goes back to my point. You got to wrap up. Fundamental
mhm.
football can't just be looking for the big hit, nor can you get sucked in looking into the backfield and late on your rotation getting over the top.
Yeah. Now, also, Gavin Wimsatt, he was a pretty good athlete. Especially
Hmm.
they said this kid is just turned 19. Yeah, he was a pretty good quarterback, man, a dual threat. So, is that a sign of things to come for the remainder of the season when we face dual threat running quarterbacks? Well, we have issues with them. When we come
We've
around.
always have, and that goes
Mm.
back to shortly after I graduated when we played Syracuse, and
Mm-hmm.
Donovan McNabb was still
McNabb was
there,
there.
and
Yeah.
and right, and we got exposed to our inability to kind of contain, right? So I think it's going to be, and the other piece to it too, Rob. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
not seeing a breakout pass rusher at this
Uh-uh.
time. I think overall up front, between the front four, again, definitely doing a serviceable job, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Chris
not seeing
Jenkins.
anybody that's Donovan coming off.
No.
Not seeing anyone like a Aiden
Aiden
or the
or Mike
rest of our
McCray from last
guys.
year. Yeah.
Exactly, the rest of our guys that were just screaming off those edges, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think as a unit, we are doing pretty good.
Yeah,
No,
well,
but
I said,
there are no
damn good.
particular standouts that we've had of pass.
Let's see how many yards we gave up. I'm sorry. Total yards last year. We gave up 257 yards, 180 on the ground, but that was one, 67
Right, it's
yard
chunk
play.
play. It was
That's
chunk
not
play.
bad. That's not bad.
No,
We were close to holding them under 100 passing and rushing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. As a unit, they're playing ball. They like that
right,
2004 Detroit Pistons team. You know what I'm saying? No names, but they gel together and they're
right.
just one unit. One heartbeat. So yeah.
And I think that's might be our character this year. We may just be a very boring team this year. Um,
Yeah.
we may have some wow plays, some splash plays here and there, but again, as I said before, it's all about getting the W, getting out of each game healthy as we continue to prepare for the following week's upcoming performance. Looking forward to going to Memorial Stadium out in
Mhm.
Nebraska. Um, they're trying to do some things. They're still not the Nebraska of old, but what I
Mhm.
am concerned about is going to be our tackle play.
Yeah.
Again, we gave up a sack this week, and uh, I'm noticing that our tackles are having problems with athletic defensive ends, smaller
Mm.
guys who want to come screaming off the corners. And
Mhm.
Nebraska has some really try hard guys, some high motor guys. Their
Mhm.
number 97, I watched him against Louisiana Tech,
Yeah.
likes to bring the funk a little bit. And their number 0 plays a nose guard, three techniques. They're big interior linemen. So I'm
Mhm.
interested to see how our center and guard play deals with him as well, because they were wreaking a little bit of havoc for the
Hey,
Louisiana Tech guys.
hey, just to interject. Let's be realistic here. Nebraska is coming. First of all,
Right.
it coach for the head down, and Matt Rule is a top tier coach in Division One college football. He turned programs around, and I'm sorry, yeah, the Carolina Panthers looking competitive. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's coming there and he's going to turn that program around. So they're going to be coming the next few years. Uh, in addition to that, I think what you said about the running quarterback, who doesn't have the issue with the dual threat quarterback? How can we contain it?
Mm.
And, lastly, is the fact that we do look boring. We do look like a different team from last year. But, when it comes down to it, it's the exact same team from last year. So we do have that explosive nature in this. We're just
Hmm.
ready to open it up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Right.
so,
How deep are we going to get into the playbook? And again, I don't know if this is a Coach Moore thing where
mm-hmm.
I'm confident enough as far as what I saw during the week
Mm-hmm.
that I only have to stay into the shallow to maybe medium end of the pool and
Uh-huh.
not necessarily delve too deeply with our play calling as of yet to allow other teams to kind of scout us out a little bit. Who knows? I don't have that insider insight, if you will, but it's all about getting the W, ladies and gentlemen. It may not be the most entertaining as it was last year with all the splash plays that we had last year, but as long as we
Mm-hmm.
continue to grind it out and get the win, I'm happy with it. It's boring, but it also makes it a little bit more exciting to watch. And what I mean by that is that we're not having the blowout games that we had,
Yeah.
and where those games are now competitive, it makes you want to stick around and watch, right?
That's an
So
issue though, TG, because you know what I'm saying, football players, you know, uh, we're mentally like locked in on routine,
right,
improving to yourself and who you are as a staff and a squad. Can you do this? So if they don't see themselves doing this, when they get down, when it gets a little bit, later on in the season, and they have to win a shootout, do they believe that they can do it? Are they used to it? You get what I'm saying? When will we see it? I think that this week we need to come out. We need to try to put up 50 against Nebraska just to spark that offense and get that confidence back and get it rolling.
and the other, so I don't disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
So not only, putting up that 50, but putting up 50 away from home,
Yeah, exactly.
because
Yeah.
I believe we are in East Lansing this year, if memory serves
Mm-hmm.
me correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have some hostile confines to step into, as the season progresses, as we try to three-peat as Big Ten champions. So this is, like I said, I think this is going to be our first really good early
Test,
test,
yeah.
against a team that, as you said, is going to be well coached. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
go into a super hostile environment. Memorial Stadium is a hellified place to play against a bunch of guys that's looking to bring a little bit of luster back to a
Yeah.
historic program.
Yeah.
So what better way to, wipe the dust off than to get a
Pop
dub
this shit.
against the Wolverines?
Did I see that Scott Frost took the Michigan State job?
I don't know. I have not seen that.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Kyle?
No, I have not. I haven't been keeping up too much with what's been going on lately. It was already enough drama for me. I had to check out,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Anytime,
haven't seen
anytime
any
you screw up
announcements about.
95 million.
Okay, thank you. That was an April Fool. So okay, yeah. All right, cool. Forget that. Yeah, that was April. I saw that somewhere. I'm like, what in the world?
But the
Um,
other thing too, Rob was talking about our tight end work, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I salute our tight ends. But the one thing I am seeing as a chink in their armor, our tight ends are not blocking, um,
Mm-hmm.
to the level of standard that I'm used to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that they're not doing a good job, but just having played with some of the guys I played with, some of the tight ends that came before me, they were great receivers and did their thing out in the open field, great athletes. But when it was time to come down and get your face across and
Mm-hmm.
help drive those defensive ends off the line of scrimmage, I'm not seeing that as of yet. So hopefully we're still
Uh,
continuing to work in that part of the
yeah.
game out.
We're pretty deep in that position. That's one thing about it. So we do have the ability to bring in, uh, block first tight ends and pass catching
Right,
tight ends. It's not
right,
really that neutral guy, that 50-50. But we haven't really
right.
had that. Jake, I can't remember, Jake Butt, maybe in the last one, he
Yeah,
wasn't even really a blocking tight end.
right,
Jay Reamersma?
right. Now, Jay, because I played with Jay,
Mm-hmm.
so like as a tackle, me and Jay used to get some hellified Ted blocks in there. But again, like I said, you hit Jay coming across the middle,
Yeah,
Jay was going to go up and go get that ball,
that's
right?
right.
And take two or three guys to get him down. So what I see right now within the tight end play, it kind of sort of seeming like that's the trend right now.
Mm-hmm.
Our tight ends are basically slow receivers. When you look
Mm-hmm.
at,
mm,
some of the guys that are in the NFL that are making a lot of noise, other than Kittle,
Yep.
for the 49ers, Kittle's a good blocker, but
Yeah, yes.
I haven't seen Travis Kelce.
Well, he
He's,
ain't getting down there.
you're right.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically a slow receiver.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I'm looking to see us get a little bit more aggressive at the point of attack, because a lot of our blocking schemes, for
Mm-hmm.
those that really don't pay attention, our tight ends are very uh, intimately involved with that. A lot of our counters, instead of pulling that backside tackle, we're bringing that tight end.
Maybe that's what's missing from that explosive run play.
Well, I'm telling you what it is. If you go back and watch any of our games when we're running zone,
Mm-hmm.
when we come off the ball, we're not coming off the ball. They're taking their steps, but it's almost like they're chopping their feet in place, then making
They're
contact
not
with the
firing off.
defensive lineman, and then trying to drive. And by that time, the back's already in the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Back in our day, you were firing off at your proper angle,
Yep.
proper pad level, and
Mm-hmm.
then also with proper hat placement.
Yep.
Watch us in the zone game. We play hot. And that's the reason why we're not getting as much movement off the line of scrimmage. Those short yardage plays, when we're busting it right up the gut, it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like we're running a wedge block, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. We're getting definite push up that middle.
Yeah.
But
When is
out in the
Donovan
field,
going? I'm sorry, I thought you were finished. My bad.
no, I'm just saying when we're running those zone schemes, you're not seeing the level of separation that we saw of old.
When are we gonna have a Donovan Edwards sighting? Like, come on, God dang.
I
He
think
look.
I think
He's looking
Donovan
like.
I think Donovan's in his head right now. I think Donovan's in his, like I said, in his own head.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a couple of plays where I thought if he just would have planted his foot and went,
Yeah.
it would have been big plays. Even so, still, Blake is not the Blake of old.
Blake
Doing a
is
good
not. Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
throwing up good numbers, right?
Yeah.
But as I said before, we got spoiled last year
Yeah.
with that 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just not seeing the level of productivity that we had. And again,
Well,
the season's still young. It's still early in the season. Hopefully, we're going to get back to that when it really counts.
yeah.
But as of these first 4 games, I haven't really seen it out of either one of those guys.
Last week, it gave me an opportunity to let my girl know what 3 yards in a cloud of dust was. You know what I'm saying?
Basically, that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just hopefully that was just play calling, and because we were confident that we had a handle on the Scarlet Knights and what they were going to do. Continue to watch too defensive fronts against us.
Mhm.
That TCU game when we lost to those guys, watch what the linebackers are doing. Watch where the stunts are coming from,
Mhm.
and watch the where the blitzes are coming from as well against this Michigan offensive line. I don't really feel like defensive coordinators are that afraid where we're going to be able to pick a lot of this stuff up when you start bringing some of those exotic looks. So I think that may be a little bit of a burr under our saddle, if you will, as well as the season continues to mature.
And that's it for this week's episode of Under the Wings Helmet. Thank you to our sponsors, Javs Gym and Juke. Also, be sure to check out Under the Wing Helmet merchandise at asapelite.com. Come back next week where we preview the Week 5 matchup. And be sure to listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and the Believe Podcast Network. You can also watch us on asapelite.com and the ASAP Elite YouTube channel. For Thomas Guynes and Rob Penn, I'm Kyle Simmons. Go Blue.
Hell yeah.
Hey, y'all see the shirt, just so y'all know.